Buenas tardes, ya estamos aquí de vuelta. Hola de nuevo a todos. Continuamos y terminamos ya la segunda sesión de Fashion Ideas Forum. Y qué mejor que terminar hablando de sostenibilidad y qué mejor que hacerlo con uno de los grandes grupos de la industria de la moda en Europa, en el mundo, y uno de los que más está invirtiendo y más esfuerzos está haciendo precisamente en este ámbito. Como no puede ser otro, que es H&M. Para hacerlo contamos con nosotros con Pascal Brun, que obviamente no está aquí físicamente con nosotros, vamos a conectar ahora con él, de hecho ya lo estoy viendo en la pantalla y lo tenéis que estar viendo vosotros, que es el responsable global de sostenibilidad de H&M desde 2016. Él se unió a la compañía en 2007 y ha ocupado varios puestos, como el de director general de la empresa en Bangladesh y el de Global Supply Chain Manager en Hong Kong. Es ingeniero textil en indumentaria y textiles y tiene una maestría en química y además forma parte del consejo de la Sustainable Apparel Coalition de la SAC. Thank you very much, Pascal, for joining us. It's a pleasure, and please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Nice to be here, nice to be with everyone here. I will need some help to see my slides. I only see myself now. Yes, great, now I see it. All right, so as Pina was mentioning, I will go through the new sustainability and what we call the new sustainability, if it can be called the new sustainability as well. We'll go through a bit of what the COVID has impacted on sustainability. Next slide, please. So what I will go through H&M Group, who we are as a group. I will bring a bit of an outside-in perspective, what the COVID has teach us as well as a lesson. We'll bring a bit of an inside-out perspective, what we have been doing in this situation. And I will talk about the impact on sustainability and on our strategy. Next slide, please. So H&M Group, we are basically a group having a bit more than 5,000 stores in 74 markets. And the e-commerce is present today in 51 markets. We are a group having a turnover of 232.8 billion Swedish kroner in net sales. And we have a reach of 795 million transactions in store per year and 93 million transactions online for H&M brand alone. Next slide, please. And H&M Group is a group of brands. Obviously, H&M is the biggest one, but it's also including COS, Weekday, Monkey, H&M Home, and Other Stories, Arket, Found, all of them having a clear definition of customer segment. It's also, H&M Group has also different businesses that we have started to implement a few years ago. One is Sellpy. It's a B2C, second-hand marketplace online, which we have acquired and becoming a majority shareholder. And another one is Stradler, built it from scratch from H&M Group. It's a B2B supply chain services that we are providing now to the many. Next slide, please. So if we look back, if you go to the next slide. Next, please. If we look back a bit of the journey, I mean, you will see now on the next slide as well, I mean, our transformation has started to pay off. We have in pre-COVID, post-COVID, basically, pre-COVID, before COVID, we have seen a lot of initiative initiated to improve our customer experience. So we have seen them paying off in the last quarter last year, like pay later solution, next day delivery, sustainable last mile delivery. For example, we have implemented in different countries, and for example, in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, the last mile delivery is done now by bicycle for the customer that choose that option. We have click and collect as well in store. We have online return in store as an option, and we have RFID to help us with our stock management and so on. If you go on the next slide, you will as well see that we have great progress on many sustainability areas that we have all over these years implemented, such as material innovation and sustainable material share. We have, in the last few months, increased those shares quite a lot as well. We got as well successful pilot when it comes to circular business model. One very good example was in November 2019, where we started rental here in Stockholm. We have as well, through different store program, which we call My Store Initiative, My H&M Store Initiative, we have reached out to local communities. And here we have done that in different parts of the world, like in Germany and in Spain as well, where we have very good example. For example, in one store in Germany, we have basically employed a Syrian refugee which has a textile engineering background and is providing lessons to our customers, is providing lessons to repair, remake their garments, and we are using his competence on an every day towards the customers to help them in repairing and remaking the garments. And we have seen as well a very good progress when it comes to our Fair Living Wage program that we have started 2013. Next slide, please. So we all think that we were set for a sustainable fashion future before the COVID came. Going on the next slide, you will see that you all know what has happened. A new virus came, something that no one has seen in the past. If you go on the next slide, we are basically, I mean, this shows that we are in the middle of an historical moment, a moment that no one has experienced in the past. No one has really been faced. No one has really been gone through yet. We see as well that we are on a roller coaster. The new normal will not be the same. It will be a bumpy road. It will not be a straight line as we were set for. We will have to adjust to that. We will have to be resilient, and that's the industry that we will need to rebuild. If you go on the next slide, please. But we see that when chaos happens, this is where it allows us to think of opportunities and opportunity for creativity and growth. We see that there is an opportunity to rebuild a system differently, to change the industry we were in. And that's basically probably the only positive side of what has happened in the last few months is what will be next. We have a chance to rebuild it. Next slide, please. But we see as well a global shift, which we will have to take into consideration. For example, the global recession. We will face a global recession that none of us, and probably none on this call, have seen in the past. It will happen in Europe, it will happen in Asia, in America. We will face a global recession that no one has faced. We have seen before COVID, we have seen during COVID a digitalization, an acceleration of digitalization. Now everything and most of things happen digitally, and that's where we need to be stronger, we need to be faster, and we need to cope up with the challenges. We see as well a global shift in the slide before, sorry. We see as well a global shift in terms of revolution. We see that there is a need of people to take a stand. There is a need of people to protest, and we see that more and more. Here an example, Black Lives Matter, but if it's a very important trend, and I think it's for very right reason we see that coming, and we need to basically be aware of that. We need to be part of that change. The global recession has probably as well a fuel towards the revolution. And then the next one on shift that we see is the fear of socializing, the fear of getting back to normal. We see that every day in our everyday life now in a little bit post-COVID phase, but this will be something that we will face for a long time. I don't think this will disappear from one day to another. And then we see the need to change, an acceleration of need to change, a need to transform to a better and more sustainable future. We have seen that during COVID, the sustainability dimension has shown the whole impact that it could create. We have seen the climate getting better, the pollution getting decreasing. And basically, it shows that there is a need to accelerate the change, a need for transformation. Next slide, please. Going on next. What COVID has taught us? It has taught us different things. That there will be, it has been an economic downturn. And according to the World Bank, it will be a 5% lower GDP growth. Next, please. Maybe you can go a few steps ahead. Yeah, one more. Yes. We see a rapid unemployment increase. It's expected by ILO that the unemployment will increase by 25 million within this year. Shrinking personal finances as well. 66% of Gen Z in the US mentioned that they are worried about their personal finances, compared to 5% a few months ago in November. This is from BCG. Shrinking in fashion industry as well. We see that there is a quick contraction of global fashion industry, although the digital shift. We see that the digital shift leapfrog will not compensate the decrease of physical brick and mortar stores. We see as well that there is a lack of demand, which has created an excess overstock. As per McKinsey, there is roughly a 140 to 160 billion excess pieces worldwide. This is a huge amount of garments that are right now on the excess, on the stock level. There is a supply chain impact that we have all seen as well that has been created by a lack of demand and country lockdown that we have to take care as well. If we want to rebuild the industry, we have to rebuild with a responsible supply chain. Next slide, please. Next slide. So what we have done a few things to adapt to during the crisis. We have lended our social media to different NGOs. For example, here you can see Oxfam. We have lended our social media to be able for those NGOs to have a larger voice, to probably an audience that they were not used to have, and to reach basically to the many. We have as well been very early during the crisis pledged to accept all orders in production and already produced or in production. Next slide. We have seen as well that we have started to collaborate with different partnerships. Here, for example, with Art17, it's a UNDP, close to a UNDP organization, which has the ambition to go across our industry and reaching out to the young generation in order to bring back hope to the young generation. We have seen as well that we have altogether managed to get into a call to action to support our manufacturers. A great actions that has a coalition came together between brands, trade union partners, with ILO, with IOM, the employer organization, came together to basically formalize a call to action. Great, but everything needs to happen now. We have as well during the crisis went on an emergency relief fund, also together with our H&M Foundation. Next, we have as well, very early during the crisis, basically mobilize our supply chain to produce personal protective equipment, PPE equipment, face masks, aprons, mask, blouse, and so on. And next one, we have as well during the time and during the crisis launched our new sustainability platform, which is available on hm.com, which is Let's Change, which aim to basically change and build an agenda around innovation, around transparency, around being fair and equal, around going green, around changing the industry we are in. Next slide, please. So this was a bit of the past, the outside in, inside out perspective, what we have done. Now looking ahead and looking beyond. If we go on the next slide, what are our learnings? If you go few bullet points below, our learnings from the crisis is that team works beyond borders. We have seen teamworks across our industry, across within our function, within our brand, which has shown its full potential. Full potential potential in terms of agility and quick adaptation is very important during the crisis. Supply chain vulnerability needs to be really taken into consideration. The importance of sustainability became quite big as well. The importance of sustainability has never been as more important now when it comes to, for example, climate, when it comes to circularity, when it comes to inclusion, diversity, solidarity. Then it's about new shopping behavior and digital solution. We have seen that shift. I mentioned about that already. Next one, we have seen that collaboration and new allies is the key for success. We have seen people and collaboration and organization coming together that we have not seen in the past. If we go on the next slide, going forward, what we're going to do, we will need to shift to a new model. Going further, we will need to fast forward sustainability and tech. Very important. The COVID has accelerated the journey we were in. We will have to invest in new models and in innovation. We cannot let COVID decrease those innovations. We have to continue those innovations. We have, and we are in a risk right now, that the last 10 years of sustainability effort that we have put in an industry will go in waste if investment are not continuing. Next slide, please. We'll need to secure jobs as well. I mentioned about the rate of unemployment will go high. So we will need to secure those jobs. We will need to find new jobs as well. Where collaboration will be key. We will need to collaborate between all partners, between brands as well, between brands that were probably competitors in the past. We will need to collaborate together to bring those investments in new models, in innovation, and be able to secure jobs. Next, we will bring along our customers on that journey. We cannot do that alone. Our customers will have to be with us on that. And we will have to fight for equality. We have seen the last few weeks, all the movement that has happened. We need to fight for equality. This is a key element in us driving forward an agenda and be able to have an industry going forward. Next slide, please. So this is our new sustainability strategy. We will focus on the core. And by the core, what we believe that all people will choose sustainable products, services, or brands if they are available and affordable. This is basically our strategy, which is fashion and quality at the best price in a sustainable way. By that, we will bring a meaning to what we do. We will bring a purpose to what we do. And that's what we call the core. Next slide, please. We will have to work with an ecosystem partnership. And by that, we believe that H&M has the size and scale to transform the industry. We will need to build that together with different partners, with different peers, brands, NGOs, collaboration, trade union partners. We will need to build an ecosystem partnership. The partnership, the way we have defined partnership in the past, will have to be redefined. By that, the strategy that we will have here will be to lead the change to a sustainable fashion future, and this will bring stability to the whole system. Then we will have our transparency agenda. Transparency will become the new norm. Why? Is because we will have to be trusted, we will have to be transparent. We cannot ask anymore our customer, trust us, believe in us. We will have to gain the trust, we will have to be transparent, and that will enable our customer to trust us. So here we believe that that people will connect and engage if they trust the brand and understand the journey we are on. By that, we will empower our customers through a transparent value chain. This will bring trust. What we have done on transparency, we have basically been one of the first brands back in 2012, I think it was, to publish our supplier list online. Then what we have done as well, we have also put all our product on our online store. You can see which suppliers has produced that garment. On some products, you also see the tier 2 as well, the fabric manufacturers. So we are increasing our level of transparency. This is a crucial agenda for us to be trusted and to create trust. We will as well build more data of our products. We will also show the carbon footprint of our products in a very clear and transparent way through industry standard and through different alliance and coalition. And that's what we are driving as well, together with the Sustainable Apparel Coalition, to be able to have a Higg index for the industry, to be transparent and to be disclosed to the many. Then we have our inclusion and solidarity work. We believe by that all people want to develop and contribute if they get the opportunity and the empowerment to do so. This is our equality strategy. By doing so, we will bring compassion into what we do, a purpose of compassion. And then we have our solidarity work. And here with our solidarity work, we are talking about innovation. We are talking about how can we become more circular. For me, I often say that circularity is probably our only credible answer towards consumption. And we believe that circularity is the way we can grow our business and respect the planet and its people. For that, we will have, and we have developed, a circularity approach in everything we do. By that, we will build trust for the new and hope for the new generation. What we have developed here, we have developed an holistic approach on circularity from the business, from the design of our product to be more circular and developed circular design guideline towards the end of the product. And we are working from a circular approach in an holistic way. We are looking at the design of the product, we are looking at the material, what we choose, how can we increase our sustainable materials share. We are looking into the production processes, how those production processes can decrease the energy of the energy consumption and the greenhouse gas emission, or the water as well, or the chemical in some aspect. We are looking into the customer use as well, and providing different facility for our customers to offer them the ability and the facility to choose a sustainable lifestyle as well, or to repair and remake their garments in our store, or to be able to rent, or to be able to choose a second-hand garment in future. And then we are looking into the end life of the product. And by that, we are looking into closing the loop of the life cycle of our products. And by that, we have, since 2013, offered the possibility to our customers to bring back their garments in our store. Just last year, we have collected 29,000 tons of textile within our store channels, which represent roughly around an equivalent of 150 million t-shirts that we have basically helped to not end up in the landfill. Next slide, please. I will finish with two quotes. One from Erling Persson, which is our founder in 1947. Very early, he has seen that with an industry so dynamic, we have to keep on our toes and have a flexible mindset. This is very true right now. This has been probably a quote that has been true all over these years, and probably it has all its meaning right now. If we go on the next slide, you will see a different quote from our newly appointed CEO, Elena Elmerson, saying that we must take the responsibility for our future generation. I can't see the full quote, but here basically saying that we need to move towards being more transparent, towards the transition in circular economy. Taking a step back is not an option. We are committed to take the step forward and towards our vision of becoming circular and climate positive. Going on the next slide, we will work on our Let's Change platform. We will work and strive towards changing the industry we are in. We are here to rebuild it. It has never been as relevant as it is now. We need to change. We need to get our customers on board with that. We need to do that all together. Going on the next slide, basically we see that we are in this together. We are in this shared adventure together. We will not be able to do this together alone. We have to do it together. We have to do it through collaborative platform, an ecosystem partnership. That's what we talked about. That's my view on the new sustainability strategy. My top priorities here will be about being more to work on circularity, to work on inclusion and diversity, and to work on transparency. It has never been more relevant now, post-COVID, than it has been in the past. We have to work towards being more circular, more inclusive, and more transparent. Thank you, everyone. That's a pleasure to go through this with you.
Thank you very much, Pascal. We will go through the Q&A section now. One first question. Can a company like H&M be sustainable with such a huge production?
Well, that's the whole purpose of it. I think we need to look at it. That's exactly why circularity is in the core of our agenda. Circularity is key. It will be the only way we will be able to keep our business model. If we don't adopt circularity, basically, yes, I mean, I could only agree with that question. But circularity will enable us to take a different leap into what we do and turn negative impact into positive impact. By putting a circular design guideline, by working on our materials, by working on innovation to get more recycled materials, by working on our production processes, bringing positive impact for our suppliers, positive impact for the workers, by working with our customers to enable them to have different alternatives, to have different services that can enable them to have a different sustainable lifestyle, by enabling garment collecting in order to close the loop and bring back all the garments into a loop system. That's the only way. So I will say, yes, it's possible. Are we there yet? No, we are not there yet. But we have to put all our effort to drive that. That's the only way we can actually create a greater positive impact.
One second question. Why do you think that fast fashion has such a bad reputation in terms of sustainability?
Well, I think that's a very valid question. And why do I think that? I also think fast fashion is not sustainable. I truly think so. And that's why I'm really working all my effort at H&M to really change that. The only way is to change how we work, what we do, and to make everything we do in a much more circular way. I'm often in touch with our partners, Ellen MacArthur Foundation. I think it's a very close partner to us when it comes to enabling a circular economy. And I will quote Ellen MacArthur herself, recently having a dialogue with her. She told me that in circular economy, what makes the most sense is economy. So let's make that an economy of scale. Let's make circularity becoming an economy of scale. The only way fast fashion can be sustainable is by becoming circular.
Another question, Mauricio is asking, how will COVID-19 change the supply chain in countries like Bangladesh?
Well, I think we are going through that right now. I think I've been working in Bangladesh. This is a country I know very well. I have my heart there. What happened there right now really makes me sad because we see supplier, we see supply chain, and we see the vulnerability of our supply chain during the COVID. Basically, it will have an impact on suppliers' survival, and it will have obviously then an impact on workers' losing their job. So this is where altogether we need to stand. We need to have a call for action. We need to have a call to collaborate to protect a country like Bangladesh. But Bangladesh is not the only one. Pakistan will be impacted. India, which has got a much longer lockdown period, will as well be impacted. So we need to really work in a collaborative way. We need to stand behind our suppliers. We need to show that we are all together in this. And obviously, I mean, brands has been impacted. Landlords has been impacted. Suppliers has been impacted. Cotton farmers has been impacted. The whole industry has shown its vulnerability during the crisis. We need to redefine that partnership. We need to redefine that value chain, and we need to basically redefine it in a way that we are resilient and we are depending on each other commitments. Mm-hmm. That's the only way we will be able to create positive impact.
Mm-hmm. They are asking also, who has the responsibility in this change? Consumers, companies, or governments?
Well, I guess we all have our share, and right now we are trying to do everything we can to take on our responsibility, obviously. We want to bring our customer on board as well, but we can't impose it to our customers. We need to get them with us. We need to get them through probably public affairs as well, through different policy work with governments to impose different things on their side in order for customers to get into a journey that brands will reply as well. But I think we all have our share, and I think, as I mentioned already, it's not alone. No one will be able to create that change. We will have to do it together.
Javier is asking how much this new strategy is going to increase the prices of H&M.
Well, hopefully, I mean, as I mentioned as well in my presentation, I believe in a sustainability which is affordable. In order to create the impact that we want, in order to create consumer to take on that journey, it has to become affordable. So we are doing everything we can to keep the prices under control. Obviously, sustainability is an investment. It's an investment in many ways. It's an investment in innovation, it's an investment in materials, it's an investment in working with our suppliers, in helping them to build solar panels. There is an investment at the end. But like in all investment, there must be a return on investment as well. And that's the business case that we need to drive. That's probably why sometimes we see a slow progress, because that business case is not clearly defined. But we need to probably incentivize that business case, and that's probably the role of the brands. And our role here is to create a sustainability which is affordable, and our role is basically to not impose it to our customers.
A question from Judith. She says, 2 years ago, the sustainability responsible of H&M based in Barcelona claimed that all the H&M group will be sustainable in 2035. Is it still the goal of the company, or the goal has changed?
Well, yes, we have a lot of goals, and I think Judith, she's referring to actually a goal that we have to become 100% sustainable on our customer offer, meaning our materials and our products, by 2030, not even 2035. Now, even with COVID, we are looking into, can we accelerate that? Can we go even faster? Can we accelerate the innovation when it comes to recycling technology? Can we accelerate the conversion of those materials? Can we accelerate as well the uptake on organic cotton, for example, or on different materials that today are not sustainable? So that goal is 2030. We have another goal, which is to become climate positive by 2040. So I don't know which one she's referring to, but climate positive by 2040, it's on our full value chain, meaning that by 2040, we will decrease our carbon emission more than what we emit.
Paula says, could you please explain us how is your work day as head of sustainability in Asian countries?
In Asia, yes. So I was based in Asia before starting as head of sustainability in Stockholm. But basically, how my day look like? It's like sustainability. For me, sustainability is not a silo function. To be successful, sustainability has to be integrated in everything we do. So my job is to be a catalyst leader, is to be a catalyst to inspire every function within the company to work on sustainability. It's not saying it's easy. It's sometimes I would rather prefer to work on silo and work on my goals and really work 100% hard towards that. But I think to create success, we need to have the business team on board. We need to have the store operation on board. We need to have the supply chain and the production on board. We need to have the marketing on board. We need to have everyone on board to create a new sustainable future. And probably my role is around being an inspired leader, an inspiring leader, is to go around and discuss, enables, bring my knowledge, but my role is to be a catalyst for change, basically.
And one last question, Pascal. Marta is asking, how does H&M plan to implement a global circular strategy to make sure that the clothes fully accomplish their correct and sustainable end of life? How are you going to do everything that you were explaining before?
How we are going to do? Well, we need to have roadmaps for that. We need to have timeline. We need to have milestone. And the goals that I'm describing, I mean, to work on circularity, to work on climate impact, to work on our materials, we have built roadmaps. So the first roadmap that probably we have achieved already is by 2020, 100% of our cotton will come from either recycled, sustainably sourced, or organic sources. This goal is achieved. Now let's move on to the next. The next is to convert every polyester within our supply chain. We have a roadmap for that. The next will be viscose. The next will be and so on. And we're going to build that towards 2030. Similarly, with our climate agenda and becoming climate positive 2040, how do we look at that? We look at our own operation first. And by our own operation, what do we mean? We mean our stores, we mean our offices, we mean our warehouse. And here already, 96% of the energy used is renewable, 96%. We are going hundreds anytime soon. Then it's our supply chain work. And this is basically, we are talking about our suppliers. We are talking about the supplier of our suppliers and so on towards the till the end of the value chain. And here, what we have set as well, we have set different roadmaps. And by 2030, we will become climate neutral for our garment manufacturers and our fabric suppliers. So we are breaking down those big goals into different manageable steps. That's how we're gonna do it.
Pascal, that's all. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and good luck and take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Y a todos vosotros lo dejamos aquí. Terminamos con la tercera ponencia de Fashion Ideas Forum, la segunda jornada, tercera ponencia. Nos vemos mañana. Hoy habéis visto todo lo que hemos hablado. Mañana hablaremos de sourcing, hablaremos de distribución, hablaremos también de management y ya será la tercera jornada para el último día, terminar con la mesa redonda y debatir todas las ideas clave que nos han ido dejando los diferentes expertos. Recordaros simplemente que mañana podéis entrar con el mismo link y podéis consultar el programa también en la plataforma o en la página web de la jornada y nos vemos mañana a las 4. Muchas gracias y hasta mañana.